So interference plays a big role in understanding uh, the results of the two slit experiments or the double slit experiments. So what you have here is experimental setup where you have two narrow slits in a sheet of metal uh, separated a small distance apart. Okay, and then we shine an incident beam of light at them. And what happens, right, is instead of getting, for instance, a shadow of just the two slits, what you end up getting is a pattern of, of high intensity light and zero intensity light. Okay, and so this is due to what's called an interference pattern. All right, and this has to do with the wave properties of light. And so to understand this a little bit better, what happens is that the incoming wave comes towards the two slits, and what happens is that this will split, or you will get two waves that come out. And so if you look in the figure here on the board, you can think of the dashed lines as being the peak of a wavelength of light. And so each of these, right, right, as a peak, all right, that are distance 1 lambda or 1 wavelength apart, okay? And so coming out of the slit, what you end up with are two slightly offset waves, okay? And if you have a screen at the other end that, that you can see the light being exposed onto, what you'll end up seeing is an interference pattern between these two waves interacting with each other. And so what you'll see then, right, is places where the two waves intersect but are out of phase, such as what's shown here on the left, you'll get destructive interference and therefore you'll get a dark spot. Whereas on the right-hand side, if the two waves, when they meet at the surface, are in phase, you will get a bright line. And so that is essentially what you end up seeing, and what you get from the result of that is an interference pattern such as what's shown here on the right-hand side of this slide, okay? And so from that, that tells us a lot about, again, the wave nature of light, and that tells us much about how light interacts in this experiment. However, as we'll find out in the next couple of videos, right, light also can behave as a particle, and so we have evidence for that as well that we'll discuss.